You are now listening to News with My Fiance with DJ Ambush and Morgan Jones.
Great morning.
Hello?
Grand Rising.
No.
Oh.
We was kinds.
Broccoli's baby.
Good morning. Hello, fiancés.
Hello, fiancés.
How are we?
How art thou?
Are we tired? Because I am.
Man.
They've got to be tired of hearing me say how tired I am.
Right. Well, not tired of hearing you say it, but I think everyone's just tired.
Maybe.
Regardless of whether you're saying it or not, or whether they're hearing it from you, people are just tired. Then there's the sick and tired crowd. Huh?
And the tired of being sick and tired crowd.
Yeah.
That's actually where I sit.
There's layers.
Yeah.
There's layers to tired.
All right, fair. Totally fair.
It's like, all right.
I buy it. Yeah. Totes buy it. I'm here for it.
Oh, man.
Oh, Ambush.
Yes.
We're gonna do things a little different today.
We are.
Friends, as you know, there have been multiple gun violence deaths, as well as multiple police murders.
Mm-hmm.
And normally we would run down a couple of nationals, a couple of locals, and today we are going to exclusively talk about the murder of Tyree Nichols, the police officers that murdered him, the racists and moderates that got us here, and how unserious this country is about equality and equity.
Mm-hmm.
In preparing these bullet points, unfortunately, we also learned about the California police killing a disabled black man, Anthony Lowe Jr., on January 26th, who was a double amputee suspected of a stabbing, and police shot him as he tried to run away as a double amputee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I will preface that I still have not seen the Tyree Nichols video. I saw
portions of it, right?
I've seen some snippets, some clips. I have not seen the full video. I was yesterday years old, realizing just how long that video is, and man, this should radicalize you. Every single piece of it.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to talk about the media and the propaganda that has been rampant, always, but very specifically patting ourselves on the back here for swift action instead of not killing a citizen.
Right.
So definitely going to talk about that. Talk about how these cops get these jobs and get moved around. How those, mistakes get made. And maybe those mistakes deserved charges.
Right. To make it harder for cops to move around.
Yeah, maybe those mistakes deserve, some sort of you don't get to cop anymore. And I don't know. I feel like there's just, far less scrutiny, and in these positions that are supposed to be incredibly dangerous and incredibly, you're out here saving lives. But somehow, we can relax our hiring standards and we can not enforce things. And I continue to go back to the fact that, you would not be able to fail this often and this big in nearly any other industry, any other job, any other one.
I am very, I don't want to say excited, but there are so many things. This situation has like brought up so many different issues and points that I'm excited to delve into for today's show. Like I'm writing notes because I don't want to interrupt you or like or like give too much before we get into the topic. So I'm like writing notes in the in our chat. I'm like, okay, cool. Gotta remember it. I gotta remember that. Is this in some ways, of course, this is no different than what we've seen and what we experience, especially with the advent of social media and everyone having cameras and just us being the greater community being exposed to what the Black and brown community has been saying has been happening all this time. There is a additional layer of, I don't know if disgust is even the right word. Watching how, politicians and right-wing media pundits are twisting this to benefit them and to make some other ridiculous point. I saw pieces of Marjorie Taylor Greene's statement, and it was just like,
well, I don't even know what she said.
I
don't even know what she said. What she say out here?
It was layers upon, like, it's very rare that she doesn't astound us with her lack of knowledge.
It's
right?
true. It's true.
She astound queen for that. But she put together a sandwich, like a triple-decker sandwich of insults, and then tried to, I guess, like feign concern about police violence by pivoting to Ashley Babbitt.
Oh, yeah, that's not feigning concern. That is, I believe the phrase is whataboutism. Deflection.
I haven't heard that in so long. That's exactly what it is.
A nothing burger.
Oh, there it is.
Not news. No. That is a straw man.
Straw man argument.
These things are not the same. They're absolutely not the same. And I'm a person who doesn't believe that the police should be able to shoot you no matter what you're doing.
Yeah. What do we have judges for?
But those aren't the same. And it is absolutely ridiculous that is the place that they go. But, this is part of it. That's part of what we want to get to today. It's just how hard folks will work to talk about anything else than the thing that actually happened.
Right.
And how hard they will work to, ready a city for a riot after their police have brutally murdered someone instead of getting their police to not brutally murder someone.
Right.
But again, I am a person who does not believe that this is the choices of individuals. This is a systemic issue. This is the culture of policing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brutality is part of the job.
Yeah.
Nobody is a nice oppressor.
Proof to that is how the police unions are quiet. Hey, these guys are just doing this. It's good police. These guys are just doing their job. You're giving these guys a hard time. The mistake was on camera. This is why you shouldn't have these body cams.
In reality, this is why we should not be trying to compromise with people that are oppressing us. And when a consequence of said compromise is your life for a certain faction of folks, we got to stop acting like that's reform is a possibility. That reform is, this is the proof that reform failed all the way around. And we're not hearing enough of that. We are still hearing, how about you maybe kind of, sort of not kill us.
Right. Kind of, sort of.
I'm not here for, there is no ability to compromise with somebody who has the ability to kill you and then go home and eat dinner and feel victimized in that situation. Because that's the other thing.
That part. These
people do dastardly things. Heinous. Stairs and especially heinous.
Yeah.
They do things that we really can't fathom. Like, we watch it as entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't really fathom that that's real, they do things that you're just like, wait, but that's every law you just broke. Each and every single one of the laws you broke.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go home and they're like, such a tough day. Oh my gosh, I almost died after you robbed a drug dealer. Yeah, like maybe somebody got mad about that.
So glad I was able to make it home to my family. You know,
the victimization that they create in that culture to be able to keep people coming back, man.
Yeah.
Because how often, I mean, can you do so wrong at your job and then it just keeps going? But somebody's got to say, like, well, I mean, buddy, hey, are you okay? I know that it's been rough out there for you. You had to shoot a couple folk. You had to ram somebody with your car. Are you doing all right? Won't we think of them? What's the trauma happening over there? Listen, this is not how this gets to go. I mean, it's been going, and this is it. This is the culture of policing. This is what it means to allow a police state. You cannot compromise with slave catching.
No.
And so the idea that there is some sort of, we must learn to comply, or if we just weren't, if us Black people just weren't such criminals, there's a lot of systems at play there to make anybody ever have that inkling of a thought. So we're going to talk about it all today.
Yeah, we're going to chat it up. Whew. We got a text already. A very happy You People's History.
Rudo.
X's and O's, Rudo.
That had to be Rudo. Only Rudo.
Of course it was Rudo. I don't even need to read his name anymore after the text.
No, we definitely knew that.
It's for the benefit of the other listeners that may not know.
Good morning, Rudo. Happy You People's History Month. Happy Black History Month to everybody. Black history is American history.
There it is. There it go.
I hope you're learning something. I hope today you learned something.
You got all month to learn something.
I hope you learn something every day. And then, you know what else I hope and wish?
What?
I hope this is your best year yet in your learning journey. Mm-hmm. And you learn something new every day. Not just in the month of February. And then, on top of that, I wish to you implementation. Once you learn, what do we do with that information? Right. What changes do we make? What movements do we do? I wish movement and progress and growth for all listening, all involved. Ambush, I'm ready for a music break.
Bam. Welcome back to News of My Fiance with DJ Ambush and Morgan Jones. Shoot us a text at 971-220-5979. Happy Black History Month. Rudo did mention it's a good thing it's a short month. in response to Morgan, hoping that everyone takes this time to learn more about Black history. Good thing it's a short month. Short assignment, huh, Rudo? Oh my gosh.
A mess.
Yeah. So we're going to be spending today's show, for anyone that just joined us, talking about Tyree Nichols, and there was another incident that happened yesterday, and of course, the through line is, our relationship with police and the intent behind the work that they were commissioned to do since their inception, and how this, they've tried to redefine and recontextualize it over and over after every situation. And, so many different elements that play out throughout society in the way that we deal with law enforcement, the way they deal with us, and the way the media has our expectations. I saw, I think it was someone from Leftist Mafia, and they were talking about, speaking about propaganda and how many pieces of entertainment that this thing exists in, even like subtly. Mm-hmm. So you have the overt Law and Order. I'm sure everyone has their favorite, whether it's Criminal Intent or SVU. And even in those situations where they show police doing the absolute worst, it's always justified. Well, it's a good thing we bent the law a little bit here, or else no one would have got to that little girl in time.
Yeah.
We didn't need a warrant, because if we waited for the warrant, we watched Stabler do some heinous things. Like, just...
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I think that Law and Order, it is overt, but it is also the more subtle form. Overt to me is Cops, where you can be this longest running show of a reality show that is then, edited in a way. And folks are chosen, certain footage is chosen to be highlighted. And the fact that we would watch that we would decide that was good entertainment to watch. What happened to you? You look like you
saw me just like, my eyes just glaze over.
Yeah. What just happened?
Because before we had cell phones and cameras on cell phones and all of that, we had, oh my gosh, Morgan, we have had mountains of evidence on the editing room floor. Like, it wasn't until you said it, just like, these moments are curated for entertainment. There is absolutely no way, there are things that have been caught on camera that is just like, we're going to start from this point. We're going to start from 30 seconds in. Because I'm pretty sure he just kicked the baby. So We're going to start from...
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, that show serves so many purposes, and it is a tool of white supremacy. And it's flat out propaganda. I mean, it is literally showing these dudes, but there's something that I'll never forget watching, some episode of Cops.
Is the theme song?
Well, there's always that. Wasn't it the Portland police who, was it?
They were on Cops?
No. Oh, well, yeah, Cops has definitely been here.
Oh.
I told, anyway, more on that later.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just lost oh no. Okay. So the thing that I remember is there was one particular, chase, which they love to show you a chase scene, right? Of
course.
And those chase scenes are never like The Gray Man or whatever brand new action movie that just came out. I know Gray Man didn't just come out. That was so good. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the chase scenes are never like that. I'll never forget this cop saying, "You made me run," as he's drawing down.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh.
That was the trigger for you, huh?
Oh. And as a kid, I did not understand what that meaning, the power portion of it. I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you don't want anybody to make you work for it. Like.
And now you got to pay.
You disobeyed. Now you have to pay. The power that comes with that, the fact that someone would be so aggrieved that they had to run, that a suspect or, you know, person of interest, whatever they call a detainee, or you're not arrested, you're just being detained.
This is scary. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna head out. Now you made me run. Well, yeah.
So here's my gun.
Right. Let me show this to you.
Yeah.
In the moonlight. Bruh.
So cops serves a lot of purposes. It shows you poor people interacting with the police. And for the most part, there are drug-affected poor people interacting with the police, which gives all of these middle class and upper middle class people the idea that poor, drug-affected people are criminals. Period. Point blank. That's who the cops all run into. Because, you know, the cops are just not ever looking for crimes. They're not looking for people to arrest. They're just standing around and the crime falls in their lap.
And they're criminals by choice.
You know? There's no such thing as them patrolling. There's no such thing as them looking for these things, right? There's certainly no such thing as them patrolling certain neighborhoods. And so they would come away with the idea that these are just things that just happen because crack. Which, if you know,
drug of choice. They're choosing. They're out here having a great time.
It'd be super tight if they even just recognized how crack got in that community in the first place.
Okay. Black History Month. Slow down.
Oh, hey.
We just got started.
Okay.
There's more Thursdays in this month, albeit a short month. There's more Thursdays in this month. Slow down. Whew.
Okay, I'll take a break by reading this text.
Another rude?
It is not.
Oh.
As a white person, once I woke up to seeing the Dick Wolf cop worship, it makes me sick to watch those bootlicking cop shows now. I love this.
Wow. Oh, no, that's real. Same number.
Oh, is it? So, that's the thing.
It took us a while.
That's the thing. You don't realize what's being said. I mean, you can understand that the system of policing is not good, right? You can understand that. And then you can go, but Olivia Benson.
That's what I was going to say to you. It's the people, right? It's the personalities, right? That allowed us to be in love with the show for so long. What is Finn going to say?
Rudo, that was me. Sorry, Rudo. My bad.
What is Finn going to say this episode? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. That, but it once again, shout out to Rudo. Once again, once you wake up to the fact that what the purpose of Olivia Benson, the purpose her character serves, is like, oh no, Mariska,
she cares.
No,
she's got that cares.
They definitely try to go that route.
Here's the thing, though. Cops that care. Here's the thing. Every time there's a situation like this is an opportunity. We talk about community engagement. We talk about bettering the relationship between law enforcement and the members of the community. And you don't want looked at as a monolith. You don't want to be looked at as this one cop, you know, isn't indicative of the whole system, right? This is what you try to sell us. When situations like this happen, we heard your voices on a local level, then I could possibly see you, the individual. I could possibly see you, this particular officer, and not see the system. But when you're quiet, you're co-signing. You want the people in the immediate community, no matter what city you're in, not to treat you like the cop, or not to have not to treat you like the cop that they see in these videos doing these things. In what way are you separating yourself? In what way are you saying, hey, not only am I not that cop, that was bad. You can't even say that was bad. It's just,
what are you gonna do?
Not all cops. It's like you want someone else to do this job of, I guess, the marketing of you being a better person, or you being a good person, or you being different. than what we're constantly seeing happen all around the United States.
Well, I'm going to say that you can't. You cannot separate yourself. When you are a part of a system that has purposely created monoliths out of other people, you don't get to be like, but not me. I'm not a monolith. We're not what we do. When in all actuality, that is exactly what the system of policing is. It is a fraternity that you are taking an oath, right, to do certain things. Part of those things, you do not go against your brethren, right? You are blue now. I mean, that is the way that they give it to you. Even if you are watching Law and Order, there's always a little diversity in that squad, right? A little more than you may have noticed in your own. But we're all serving the same purpose there. And they're all being indoctrinated with the same things so that they do think like a monolith, so that all those black cops, all those brown cops look at people that look like them and treat them less than. In order to be a police officer, you absolutely have to separate yourself from the stereotypes that you don't want to be associated with, that you have now made criminal in your mind. I'm not like that. I don't do those things. I would never. Those are criminals. In order for you to do your job effectively, you absolutely have to. And the people who can't get fired. The good cops get fired. There was a viral tweet going around of a white woman officer who said she had been trained to say certain commands after shooting so that anybody in the vicinity is going to hear, drop your weapon, get on the ground, comply, whatever it is, stop resisting. They're going to put that in order to make it make sense in their mind. And so now their memory is going to match the cop's narrative.
Y'all hear that? Like, do you actually, that's a psyop. Are you like, y'all hear that?
Like trained for that.
Yeah, they're trained.
That's a part of the academy. And this particular woman said that she was trained that used deadly force all the time, in fact, for her because she was small. You got to use deadly force, but more than the bigger guys. Do it all the time. Because you might not make it home. Your number one job is to make it home to your family.
You should stay home.
I mean, when you think about how they have, they being the system of policing, have been able to instill so much fear in the people that are supposed to be the ones that are level-headed in these situations, that are supposed to be, I deal with this all the time. I'm paid to de-escalate. I'm paid to take care of these situations, for these scary situations, for the people that deserve to be helped, right? Mm-hmm. They make them terrified to do their job. Like, that's part of, you have to be scared. You have to be running scared as a police officer to do the job they want you to do.
In a constant state of threat and peril.
Yeah. Every single thing is going to has potential to harm me. And because I'm a cop, it's going to. I mean, you have police telling you about all of the mistreatment that they get when they go to a fast food place, or the mistreatment they get when you get free coffee everywhere.
Yeah, sure.
These are not real things.
Yeah.
These are not real things. Nobody feels comfortable just like mouthing off to a police officer while you're at work. Like, that's not real. So, but it is not surprising that police will make these stories up, because that's what they do.
Do you mean
fan fiction?
Like,
what?
I was gonna say, who's a fan of the fiction? Yeah. Not me. I was gonna say, do you mean like those fentanyl videos where they
Listen,
start. This is what's so hard for me.
I OD'd on fentanyl because I touched it.
The reaction to the fentanyl videos, the reaction to them coming in contact with fentanyl is eerily similar to those vaccines.
The Harlem Shake videos?
Yeah, the Harlem Shake vaccine videos. I think that's what people don't want to talk about.
That's what they don't want to talk about.
That's the truth that they don't. That's that underlying, there's a connection. There's always a connection. You know, I remember when I first really started paying attention to propaganda, especially as portrayed by the media, and directly coming from these unions. I don't know what case it was that I was like, wait a minute, this police report is the exact opposite of what's on the video. Cops just be lying on paper and filing it all the time.
All the time.
And then like
all the time.
Yeah. So from that point forward, and let me give you guys a little bit of background. So, my relationship with police reports specifically, I there was a point in my life when I had to, file my own paperwork and for my custody case. And I had to learn the system and learn how to navigate it. And what I found was when you're standing in front of a judge or you're sitting in that courtroom and watching other people stand in front of a judge, the police's word, it overtakes anything.
Supersedes
any and all. Like, you can have a really good lawyer. This lawyer can present all this paperwork and have all these receipts. If there is an officer in the room, once an officer is called upon, whatever that officer says and what's presented in the police report, that is the new zero. That's the new gauge from which everything else is presented. Well, and no matter what you present, it'll be like, well, in the police report it says. Well, in the police report it says. Well, in the police report it says. Doesn't matter. The police report is chocked full of just like, not inaccuracies, lies. So when I started seeing this happening where, we're seeing videos are getting released, police departments are getting sued for the video to get released, and we're seeing this. And it's like, wait, y'all described a scene from like Last Action Hero where this assailant jumped out of a window and just like, you described like a scene from Rambo. And I'm looking at this video and it's y'all. Like, y'all are the predators.
You're
like,
doing the Rambos.
Y'all are wilding out. And it never seemed to stick, though. It never seemed to just become common knowledge and common understanding that police lie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They lie a lot on paper, which is filed, which is now part of this case file.
The record.
Right.
It's part of the record of events.
They hide video. They steal video from businesses. They confiscate anything they can. The order in which they're able to file the report after viewing there's so many different things. Why at any point? And if we accept, politicians lie, it's just what they do. That's fine. Lawyers lie, man. Lawyers are snakes, man. They're going to lie. But the cops, wait a minute. They've been caught red-handed way more often.
But they're honest. What? It's cry-fi is what I'm hearing.
I am befuddled, beloved.
Crime fiction.
I love crime-fi.
Cry-fi.
I love cry-fi.
Trademarked. TM. How do I make?
No, you just say TM.
This is Morgan Jones's intellectual property.
There it is.
Cry-fi.
You did it on the air.
It means absolutely nothing, right?
Cry-fi.
Anyway, my point is, they're just making it up, and when you get to just make it up, and you are completely believed, it's a totally different game. Because so much so, Ambush, to your point, is in the Black community, it's definitely like, I don't believe the police, but I do believe the paperwork.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
But on the paperwork that I saw, they lied. Why do we believe the paperwork?
Because what's our relationship with reports? We know that when we put it on paper, it better be right because we can there's a consequence for that.
First of all, I had to write this in pen.
Yeah.
You can't erase. Okay? Can't do a line through. Have you ever messed up a timesheet? Accounting will kill you.
It's a
literally
wrap, bro.
if you
start the whole thing over.
You have to start the
do
whole
that.
thing over.
You can't do that.
So you got to initial. You got to do all sorts of stuff. You've made it messy now.
There's a level of...
It's terrifying.
There it is. There's a level of terror about lying on paper.
Yeah.
Because now I'm giving it to you, and you're going to hold me accountable to what I'm putting on this paper. Yeah, you're going to
bring this back up when. So yeah, it can't be wrong, and it can't be a lie. It certainly can't just be a story I made up. No. So that I can make it home that night. I mean, when I think about the amount of times I have heard about police allowing people to leave in a DUI situation because they didn't want to do the paperwork.
I'm just going to drop you off at home.
I don't even mean that, but that's a shout out to that service. Do that. Yeah. Do drop me at home. Yeah. Do drop everybody at home. Please. Yes.
I'll take one home drop off.
I'll take one home drop off.
Please. I too.
However, I mean leaving people in their cars and saying, have someone come get you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, somebody can pick you up.
Can someone come pick you up? Because, hey, it's 3:30 and I'm pretty much done. So close. I mean, what happens when those people say, yes, I definitely have someone to come get me.
And then pull off.
Wink, wink. They pull off and kill someone or themselves or, run right into a wall.
Right. Property damage. Is that what you just said?
You better go to jail. You better just get right to jail.
Rudo said, doing the Rambos since 1619. We got another text. I had a conversation with a black Portland police officer who told me that when he visits other cities, he's very wary of the police. He said that he knows they will most likely see him as another black man, hence a suspect. Just another black man, hence a suspect.
Yeah.
They will.
So why are you a police officer?
Babe.
No.
They're not a monolith and we need good police.
Stop it. Thank you for listening to News with My Fiance. It's been wonderful. No, we're just going to not do the rest of the show. It's been real. What does my dad say? It's been fun. It's been real, but it ain't been real fun. I don't know why he's like that.
I've never heard that one.
Well, be happy. You have it because it's not great. I don't want to move too far past. I want to finish this propaganda point because the other part of propaganda isn't just what the police say. It is how the media treats what the police says, which then indoctrinates all of us to believe that it must be true because they said it on the news.
Yeah.
And this is not, Morgan making connections that no one else thought of. This is just think tanks make sure that this happens.
Yeah.
That they're in conjunction. That, we got to get on with the same page, friends.
Yeah.
And there was this narrative of we've never seen anything like this before coming from the media about Tyree Nichols. We've never seen this. The brutality on a complete level that we've never seen.
Mm.
And again, I am going to one more time or say it out loud. I have not watched this full video, but it sounds like 1991 to me. It sounds like Rodney King to me. So it's not that you haven't seen it before. What you haven't seen is police get fired before there's video.
Oh, that's what they meant. That's what they haven't seen before.
What they haven't seen is police be held accountable, and I'm putting that in big, huge air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
What they haven't seen is the police be held accountable before a protest.
When you put that in air quotes, is that because you're saying don't count your chickens before they hatch? Like they've been charged, they may get off. Is that part of it?
It's a lot of things. Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. It also accountability. The accountability that we are collectively talking about is not accountability that I think matters. Like,
right. So on the individual level, not the system. Yeah.
We're not. We are. They're going to throw cops into jail as many times as they possibly can for you to not look at why the cops are killing people.
Yeah.
But the propaganda of this, I mean, it is vast. Immediately, 5 black officers fired. Immediately, the media starts calling them former officers, which is confusing for people.
Definitely confusing for me. You guys need better union reps. I have never.
That's not what I.
That's not what you're about? Okay.
No, black cops are disposable. I don't think that I'm the first person to say that out loud.
Yeah.
I think our Portland black cop that was just brought up in this text thread. Yeah. I bet that particular cop understands the disposability.
I'm only safe in my own city in uniform.
If you feel that way, then you know where you hit on the rung of who is disposable and who's not. Yeah, not a secret. Black cops are disposable. Not a secret. And to highlight even further just how disposable they are, there were other people there. There was a whole white cop that was the first initiating officer. We ain't hear nothing about him for days.
Yeah.
Days.
Yeah. That's them doing it in your face, bro. That's right in your face.
Somebody asked me, like, why aren't people rioting if these were all white cops that killed a black man this way, there'd be riots. But because it's black people, we're quiet. Let me be quite clear.
I'm glad you're sharing this. I loved your answer to this.
A lot of things happen when it comes to trauma and responding to trauma and how we are going to deal with these kind of barbaric moments. But there's something to be said about leading with accountability the way that they did this time around, right? One, we know that that there were 5 police officers that did something that all of these people are saying is so heinous that please don't riot. We're going to ready our cities for riots. We're not protests, riots. We're going to show you the video. Please understand. We've already taken care of this. We don't ever even really need to talk about it again. Those police have been held accountable. They have been fired. They have been charged. We're going to let the justice system handle them. Right? One, people are, if we are, folks are collectively wanting that kind of reform and they are then getting it in the way of, there isn't a lot of room to say what happened here. There's not a lot of room to say no justice, no peace, right? Because what you have been asking for was never justice.
Yeah.
Justice is not getting murdered by the police. It is not. We do not need to be talking about the aftermath. We need to be doing the before. What is the preemptive way to handle this? Justice is being able to live your life without being under constant terror by the police. And I understand that there are people that have never thought of the police as scary or terrorizing and can't wrap their head around it. I don't know what else you need. This is never going to be a... You shouldn't need more.
You shouldn't.
I don't know what else you need. There's just no other way to get past that. But we have accepted as a society that that the police can kill people. You know, like that's just okay. And we have accepted the answers that police have given on why that's okay. I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
They had a weapon. They were talking back to me. They didn't comply.
Made me run.
They made me run. There's a reason that they rolled out the information the way that they did. And mostly that was to preempt the public's reaction and the public's how they react, their actions.
This is the moment when I want the Netflix documentary or the Hulu documentary or the dramatization is going to show the chain of the order of events, because I feel like I found out about Tyree's death in the exact same breath of the police being fired.
Yep.
And that caught me completely off guard. But I want to know, like, usually there's so many different hangups. It's like, oh, there needs to be a grand jury before we even get an indictment. We'll be lucky if we get an indictment. There's death duty, pending investigation. There's always so many different things. We get a statement from the police union. There's always so many different things before we get to fired and charged.
Yep.
And all of those barriers completely boom. So, like, I would love this. Did the police union, are they watching the video? Like, what happened? Is there something else that preceded this? Is there something else that moving swiftly on this allows them to cover up a history of, like, what exactly? It's
the history of brutality, period.
Mm-hmm.
If what people see in that video
mm-hmm.
is not that different from what police do every single day.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't go as far, right? They don't go to the point of death every day.
But even in that, the fact that they're attributing his death, which happened 3 days later, to the beating, to me is like,
well, that's new.
Yeah. Where's there were, pre-existing
definitely
conditions.
Had some fentanyl. We all almost overdosed when we touched him.
Yeah. We think
our adrenaline was pumping in so much.
We think he may have died from cardiac arrest, or,
right.
He's a diabetic. Like, where's, like,
right.
All of that was off the table for these guys. You know what? And fire them.
It also might have something to do with all that audio. Because they went hard in the paint.
Bruh. I remember when I first was talking to you about it, I'm like, when you hear the way they're talking to him, that was what was most striking to me. It was just like, wow, y'all are just okay.
And this is where I say any single body can uphold white supremacy with anti-blackness. Does not matter. Does not matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like. Every single body can do it. And if you are a person of color as a police officer, you are doing it.
Yeah.
You are doing it. There is no if, ands. There is no change it from the inside. That's naive. I appreciate the thought. It's naive. It's not real. Cry-fi. This is not a thing. Anti-blackness has to be a part of policing, because you would not be able to found something on slave catching and continue to use it for corralling.
Yeah.
And creating prison labor if you weren't doing it. So there's a level of anti-blackness in every single part of the reform you hear.
Mm-hmm.
Every single body gets to and can uphold these systems of oppression. And you cannot compromise with a system of oppression. You cannot find the nice way. There were no nice slave owners. It doesn't matter what the, Ron DeSantis tells you.
Doesn't matter what they're preaching down in Florida.
I mean, but just think about how everybody, we all grew up in different generations and stuff. And so school was different. There is no like universal thing anymore. But February is Black History Month. You learn about a few Black people that white society has decided are okay to learn about. Mm-hmm. And you get to learn about them in a way that white society says we view them. This is their legacy.
There it is. There it is. They define the legacy.
Much like they define what racism is. Much like they define what white supremacy means. Much like they define how you prove the racism.
What are the qualifiers? Do you know what's in their heart?
It's confusing for a lot of people to see Black people as police officers act that way towards a Black person, right? It's confusing. It is not confusing for me because cops are not Black. They are not white. They are blue. And that's a choice. We decide to be, these are not immutable characteristics. This is not how you were born. You were not born this way. You were not born of it.
You're really introduced to it.
Yo.
Yeah. You really adopted the blue.
You adopted the blue. But the discourse doesn't go to where it needs to go. It stays right here on the should have complied. Why would you run? It's always funny to me when it's like the nerdiest people, like, and I don't mean that in necessarily that way. But like, let's take a Ben Shapiro, who says, why would you ever run from the police? I wonder if he's ever run from someone he was scared of. Like if somebody was throwing things at you,
you'd run.
Would you run? Would you try to get away, or do you stand, or are you a person who throws hands? I think Ben doesn't throw hands.
No.
Yeah. And it's always that person who's like, how dare you run from the police? I'm fighting for my life over here.
I mean, take it right back. Take it all the way back to just someone throwing something at you. Take it back to the elementary playground when the bully is coming at you and they're like, stop running. Don't run. Collect this whooping I got for you.
Pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass? I would actually, we're outside, right? I'm going to go ahead and run.
I am Jackie Jordan Kersey. I am gone, bro.
Flojo. Watch me work.
What? So now you expect me as an adult
to not mitigate my circumstances?
Right. This person who has all types of armaments. You know what I'm saying?
Literally walking up to me with 100 pounds of gear on.
Right.
What do you have your hands on your hip for, sir? Hey, man.
Hey, my hands aren't on my hip. No one's hands should be on anyone's hips. Let's just chill out.
I was reading something yesterday. Actually, a friend sent me a picture of some paperwork of a traffic stop of a family member of theirs. And the cop said that that the suspect was making great strides to show their hands at all times and keep them on the steering wheel. And that made me think they may have a weapon in the car.
Wow.
And I was like, well.
Wow. Wow.
What are we supposed to do?
So there was one of these toxic talking heads, not even a real talking head. He's like Boosie level, but not a rapper. And he's always saying just ridiculous things. And he said, now the way you're supposed to act when you get pulled over is you cut on your interior light, you roll the window down, you put your hands on the steering wheel, and anyone else that's in the car with you, you have them put their hands on either the dash
what's in front of them
or the seat behind you. And he said, and when an officer walks up to your car and he sees that, now you're talking his language. He knows that you know somebody. Because you're giving him the signals that he needs
to feel safe.
So now he's going to treat you differently. What you
go on? What's the what treatment? What's the difference?
Imagine my surprise in hearing that you just said this officer said after receiving this excellent advice. Now, to conduct myself, make sure my hands are visible. The ones that he now thinks as an indication that
if I am showing you my hands
I am armed to the teeth,
effort to make you feel comfortable so that you don't kill me, I have now signaled to you that there is a weapon in my vehicle.
A bazooka in the trunk.
Well, where else do you keep your bazooka?
Well, yeah.
It can't fit under the sink.
It's not going to fit. There's no win because it shouldn't exist, guys.
And not only should it not exist, but there's no win because they get to change every rule, every moment of every day to fit what they needed it to fit in that moment. That's it. That's all. Like, and when you are deputized with that authority to lie, to create, in order for you to make it home at night, in order for you to rank up, in order for, so again, back to the idea that there are good police that are getting in there to change the system from the inside. LOL. Not possible.
You ready for music break?
I need a music break. I was about to go into. Let me chill.
We're going to hop into this music break. We'll be right back.
I'm wondering where all our fiancés are. I mean,
hold up before you say another word. Look, kids, let me have a little conversation with you while Mom's out of the room. We go through this every week. She gets off work, she comes home. I tell you, don't leave your things all over the house. She's got to deal with it. Every Thursday morning, like I know, she's gonna say, "Where are my fiancés? How come we haven't heard from such and such and such and such and filth on filth?" And I don't know. It's almost like, dare I say, you're waiting for her to say it. Huh? You're waiting for it so you can react. I don't know, but I think we need to work on this. And we're back.
Am I back or?
I think, yeah. You're allowed back in the room.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't like being kicked out.
Well, you weren't kicked out as much as you went to the kitchen, and while you were in the kitchen,
where I belong.
Yes. Do you have shoes on? Do it right now. Are you wearing shoes?
So I was trying to decide. We got about 20 minutes left, and I was trying to decide, like, what do we need to prioritize, because there's so much that we can talk about.
Yeah.
And I didn't come up with an answer, but I do want to make sure. I do a lot of thinking about it and then needing help on the decision making sometimes. But I did want to go back real quick to the point of the discourse not moving. And when we are talking about the same things over and over, and individuals, when we're talking about those bad apples and those lone wolves instead of the systems, it is very much the same as talking about shelters for houseless people.
Facts.
Instead of permanent housing. We know what causes crime. This is not a new phenomenon. This has been studied for eons. And they don't keep coming up with different results every time. You know, it's not like it's, well, okay, we got to do it again because this one is completely different than the last one.
Right.
People need resources. People need to not be oppressed. I mean, honestly, think this through. We pay for them to kill people. But they're not, if you go, yeah, absolutely, we do that. If you have somehow in your mind made them killing people, making you safer.
Mm-hmm.
As if they are the military. As if they are fighting for your freedoms. They are fighting you.
So what you're telling me is they don't need high-tech, state-of-the-art training facilities like Cop City?
They don't need that. They don't need to be trained by the IDF.
Okay, so bring that in, because when you told me of that, when I was made aware of those truths, I was flabbergasted, both flabbered and gasted within the same breath. Please explain to our listeners what the heck you just said.
Well, the IDF is the Israeli Defense, and they, that is their arm of the military, you know?
Heralded as one of the most elite
teams, elite killing forces, elite problem solvers, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, Ambush. It was a few years ago. I was like writing a free game or something and learned that there was a New York,
NYPD,
an NYPD
headquarters or precinct.
Precinct. That's the word. Thank you.
Yeah.
In Israel.
Yeah.
And I was like, what would that be there for?
Mind blowed.
Huh? Why would that be there? What would they do there?
Yeah.
So this particular police chief, so to be clear, many of American police have been trained by the IDF. And what that means is that they're not learning to de-escalate. They're not learning to keep the peace, if you will. They are learning how to kettle. They are learning how to harm. They are learning how to throw rocks and hide hands.
Kick names and take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're learning how to do.
So this police chief, and this is, I do want to just make clear, the utter failure that the idea of reforming policing is. This is the display. This is all of it happened at once. This is all of the things that, because our discourse doesn't move, because we don't move forward and actually talk about why and what and how to not have this current reality. And we do things performatively. So it's this, well, we need more black police, because if black police are policing black people, then they won't do this. Again, completely overlooking the anti-blackness it takes in order to be a police officer.
Full grift.
Total lie.
Full grift.
We need more black police. We need more women black police.
Because you guys want to convince us that that's the issue.
That's the issue. Now we listen to black women. Okay, cool. We only listen to black women when those black women are upholding white supremacy. And Portland, if you don't remember Danielle Outlaw.
Ooh, we gotta go to commercial.
If y'all don't remember how she came in here and wrecked shop. And then was like, oopsie doodles, I'm going to go to Philly and wreck shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she came here from the Bay where she just wrecked shop. So they put a black woman police chief in Memphis, handpicked by the mayor, you know, all the goods. We got more black police. We've relaxed standards for some reason, because there are so many to be a police officer in the first place. So many standards. You have to go to school longer to be a barber. I'm just going to never stop saying that. Shout out to barbers.
Shout out to barbers.
Keep the cuts clean.
Nick, what up?
So they put the black woman police chief in. They hire more black officers. And what does she do? She creates the Scorpion unit. Because this is a high crime area. We got to figure it out. Ain't stopped a crime yet.
Man.
Went out and did a bunch of crimes instead. So many, in fact, they all said, I think this Scorpion thing was a bad idea. What she didn't say was, this was me, I implemented this, and I shouldn't have.
Right.
It was really on some like, yikes, never saw this coming. Lies and fabrications.
Oh.
Cry, fi. Y'all sit in training rooms and come up with these acronyms. I'm not going to act like you didn't know.
Right.
Am I too hot?
No, I got you.
You can't. You cannot act like you don't know what these outcomes are going to be. They are absolutely planned. And so right now we are all excited that these people have been fired, been charged. The Scorpion unit has been disbanded. How many times, Portland? Portland. How many times have you heard of the so-and-so task force, the gun task force, the violent crime reduction task force,
the gang
gang task force, every single one of those disbanded, rebuilt. And I will not be able to get out of my head every single one of these supposed liberal, Democrat, whatever politicians saying, fund the police. More. They need more. Ted Wheeler, Joe Byron, every single one of y'all out here saying, fund the police because we need more training. No, they don't. Their training comes from the IDF. You want more of that?
Right.
Their training comes in the form of saying, you're not going to make it home. Shoot first. Ask questions later. That's the training. That woman's viral tweet ends with her saying, hey, on my third academy, I've been doing this for 16 years. I'm was in a national park ranger,
wow.
National park. You are usually on your own when you're a park ranger, wherever she was.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, I can't afford to escalate a situation. So I never did. I did this for 16 years. I go into this other academy. I've moved.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're basically telling me, go on and kill people with impunity. Like, I'm like, this kind of doesn't match the ethics of policing.
Yeah.
I'm confused about the information I'm being given. And they said, thanks for playing. We don't want you.
Is that how her career in law enforcement ended?
Yes.
Wow.
We do not want you. You don't belong here. You got to understand that there are more stories out there of a person thinking they can go and change this. I live in New York and I want to see the difference and I'm going to change it. There are more stories of people thinking that they're going to be great cops, get in and become head of corruption. Because they will leave you out to dry. Those brethren, your brothers and sisters in blue, will leave you out to dry the moment they believe that you are not good police in their mind. And good police in their mind just means you ain't gonna police me.
Right. You would not subject me to what we subject the public to.
Right. Not that kind of scrutiny. Are you kidding me? I'm the authority. And you will respect it. Those people are gone. They are ostracized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They are kicked out of the academy. They are left out to dry. They will literally tell you, I will not come and be your backup.
Right.
Flat out. Won't do it. So we have to get past the point of talking about individuals and talk about these systems, because otherwise we are going to continuously beg for people to care about our own humanity begging people to not kill us with money funded by us. This is systemic violence. This is not, somebody who got bullied and became a police officer in order to enact their power. That happens. There are those people. Why is there a system for them to exploit in that way? Why have we created a soft place for people who want to abuse power to land?
Right.
Where they are able to get paid, get a pension, have a union that is upholding them, but we union bust everywhere else? Nobody else gets to have somebody make sure that they get paid during an investigation?
Mm.
Y'all got to remember, like, that we're sitting we're in a time where politicians are trying to ban and burn books, right? Like, who have made words mean other things that they don't. And that's not new, but we're in the time right now where we actually have our the ability to counter any of those things.
Is Figueroa, I believe is his last name. He's part of the leftist mafia. Glasses. Is it David? So he brought up a point in the whole defunding the police conversation, and he said, there was very clear messaging, defund the police, and then it got twisted really quickly, and then those of us that were using it, the great majority of us that were using it, abandoned it because the new narrative was, it's just bad messaging and it sends the wrong vibe and it communicates the wrong thing. It was bad marketing. We got to find another phrase. And he was saying that, no, it wasn't about finding another phrase. You allowed the right to convince you that the most direct communication was ineffective and was going against what you were trying to achieve. And it's like, no, reclaim it for the people that actually would be a fan of this. Define it for them. Like, continue to have the conversation. Like, people, I forgot the guest that they had in the show that was doing the documentary about, defunding the police. And like, people have this idea that when we're talking about it, it's police today, nothing tomorrow.
Right.
And it's like, no, there is a process. There are many different theories and ways and reallocations of funds that can make this happen the way it needs to be. And we need to return back to that conversation and be like, hey, if you're still screaming that this makes you feel bad to hear it, bow out of the conversation. You're not even here. It's not here for you. We can't spend any time talking to people that are purposely trying to derail and distract the conversation. And I was like,
yeah, because in that entire, moment of defund is too much and is a word that makes me cringe or whatever it is that people, number one, not my fault for your lack of imagination.
Right.
But number two, why do I have to prioritize racist people's feelings over Black lives? Why do I have to do that? Why do we collectively have to prioritize people's feelings about words instead of the bodies that are stacking up? Like, we are still centering oppression and the oppressor in all of our fixes and solutions that we talk about. Defunding isn't enough to me. Anybody who has ever heard me knows that that is how I feel.
Give me an example when you're saying centering the oppressor in these conversations.
Because we're not talking about we are purposely not talking about the system, which gives that system all this air, all this room to continue to breathe and grow and do all this stuff by centering the wrong thing on purpose. Like talking about, I don't like the word defund. Like, all of a sudden you don't understand what that word means. All of a sudden that word means total abolition, right?
Right.
That just means we have abolished every single police officer. Every single police officer has been fired. They lost their job. They're on unemployment now. All the laws are gone. Every single every jail is closed. All of it at the same time because defund.
Yeah.
When really defund is redistribute.
Yeah.
Not a single one of you out here who talks about how, fund the police more can talk about what they do with their police budget currently and how it helps.
No.
How it keeps anybody safe.
No.
Not a one. Because they don't. They don't. They do not solve crime. Per their own statistics. And we know they be lying. So if you're not going to at least lie to tell me that you do a good job at the job you say you're supposed to do. For the fraud that is. You'll flatly to my face tell me I'm not good at that part. But you know what I can do? Crack some heads. Keep people in line. I can get these poor people off the front of
property.
Off your property for you. I can make sure that whoever just did that graffiti goes to jail. Oh, there was a rape and a murder? No clue. I don't know. I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm on day shift.
I'm on day shift.
It's complete and total. It's made up. It's just made up. And I'm sick and tired of prioritizing the people who are perfectly fine and happy with and benefit from the oppression of other people, centering how they feel and how they take in information and how they do something, what they're going to do with it, centering that instead of making sure that we stop killing people. Like, y'all, we cannot just be okay with a police state where we can just kill citizens.
Yeah.
What is the rest of the system for then? And this is not please do not hit me with this is broken. This is this is built. It is this.
Yeah.
Many years went into making sure.
It's operating as it should.
It's operating as it should. And I thought y'all like disruption. Let's disrupt.
That was hilarious. I thought y'all.
I mean, ain't that how
love the disruptors?
Everybody making millions of dollars being a disruptor now.
You see that last text we got? We got two guys. Just wanted to say good morning. I moved to Portland with the aspirations of going into law enforcement. For a brief period, I worked downtown as a security officer. I was always told that 99% of this job is law enforcement. My experiences in that job temper my aspirations, not out of concern for my own safety, but I couldn't trust the organization I worked for. I didn't want to be on the wrong side of history, especially as a millennial Arab American who came of age in the 9/11 Iraq War era.
Woo!
Malcolm.
Woo! Malcolm!
Malcolm said,
Baby!
P.S. He said, P.S. I apologize for the lack of participation. My commute starts when the show starts.
Okay,
please forgive me, DJ MJ. Yes.
I forgive you all the way, Malcolm.
Malcolm, circumstances
Thank you.
have changed.
If anybody is wondering, I can be soothed very quickly.
You see that?
It's just communication. That's all I need, friends. That's all I need, fiancés. Just let me know. Malcolm, thank you so much for sharing that. That was
seriously
a really fantastic way to end the show today.
Wow.
And I will say, we are going to do more of this. We are going to do more of talking about the impacts, the effects, the continued constant propaganda that we get. And gotta have to continue to point out those lies. Like the original police report for that traffic stop is a complete and total fabrication.
It is a farce.
It's a total screenplay. And we don't talk enough about that part because like Ambush said, these things can get into your head and you can see it from time to time and all of a sudden you've experienced it too. But then you forget it and it doesn't stick with you. You still trust what the police say or you still trust that the police report is correct. I don't even want to call the police to make a police report because I don't even believe what you wrote down. I told you.
Right.
So thanks for listening.
Yeah. Rudo closed out and said, I really wish it wasn't like this. I'm on board to help change this shiz. Rudes. Well, Rudes, you only got 26 days left.
You know what?
What?
Ambush,
He's the one that said it was a short month.
I told both of y'all to learn every single day.
It's true.
And implement.
It's true. For true.
Yeah.
Today's show was made possible thanks to Morgan Jones and DJ Ambush. Podcast editor Kyle G. And do remember, poverty is a policy choice. People over profits, power to the people, and none of us are free until we are all free. Thank you for listening, and
bye.